Okay, contrast the tight end room you got here. Remember that?
I do.
To what it
Vividly.
is. To what it is now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's an older group of guys that is finally, I think, ready to take that last step and play to a standard that Coach Campbell expected when we got here. These are all the same guys really that we recruited in those first 2 years that we recruited to say, hey, you're going to be this. And a year ago, probably 2 years ago, we showed a glimpse of that. A year ago, as the year went, we kind of got to what we wanted to get to a point. And I think now the daily talk is no longer, man, we got so much to prove. Now it's, can we play to this elite standard that we recruited you to and expect you to be at?
What's your pitch to the tight ends? I mean, because the Big 12 is not a great tight end conference. When you look at the draft choices and drafts.
You're going to make me check you on this.
No, do it. Okay, please do.
You want me to name the tight ends that have gotten drafted out of the Big 12?
Anyway.
The pitch is that we are such a multiple offense that, one, in our offense at Toledo, we had Mike Roberts, we had Danny Noble, these guys that are long-term NFL guys. The pitch is come in and help us be really, really multiple. We'll teach you how to play actually tight end as is used in the NFL. Pro style in a way, spread in a way, but be able to feature yourself in multiple ways, not just as a run blocker or a pass catcher, but as a complete tight end. That's the pitch, and actually having validity behind it by having guys previously at Toledo. Now here for 3 years, it's been, hey, Chase Allen will be that. Hey, Charlie Kolar will be that. Hey, Dylan Sainer will be that. And I know they've gotten some accolades, but I still have felt like we've underachieved as a group for 3 years and underachieved to the standard I think that Coach Campbell has, that Tom has, that I have for that group. And it's not to put them down, it's to say that there is an elite standard of excellence for the tight ends in this offense.
What kind of a season was Chase on track for before he got hurt?
Yeah, I think Chase was doing so many things well, and I think what was so exciting was Charlie was coming on right behind him, and we're like, man, if we can get to week 3, 4, 5 where Charlie can continue to get ready. I think Chase was playing as good a football as we had hoped. He had a decent game against Iowa. He had a productive game against Iowa, and then started off that Oklahoma game very productive and had a big third down conversion against Man there, and was, I think when Zeb came in, really like a comfortable target for him, and was run blocking picked up where he left off a year ago. I think when he got hurt, what was so exciting was we preach constantly in this program, man, next guy's got to come up next. And I know it's really cliche, but it was so good to see Dylan and Charlie both step up. And I think Sam Steenbuckner was kind of like that bridge there where he helped us get it going in the run game a little bit where we left off with Chase. But I think Charlie eased the transition. And honestly, I think it showed us a little bit like, hey, this Charlie guy is more ready than we thought he was, And sometimes that's what it takes. It took that with Brock, sometimes that's what it takes. And I think when Chase came back, he gave it everything he had. He pushed through a lot more than I think people realized. To have surgery, come back, still play, kind of watch a little bit and contribute as much as he could, and then go back and have surgery again.
How frustrating is that for a guy like Chase who's seemingly dealt with almost something different every year almost?
Yeah, I think he's probably a little bit tired of hearing that. I think it's driven him to continue to prove himself. I think there's so much competition for playing time in that room. And those guys are actually genuinely good human beings. They just continue to push each other. I think it's such a positive atmosphere in there because they all want to be really good. And I think what Tom has brought with him, to be honest with you, is he just spent this year with the Colts where there was really 4 guys that were ultra productive in an offense that was one of the best in the NFL. Fact check me, I don't know that to be the case, but saw 4 guys really ultra productive: a Pro Bowler and a former Pro Bowler, and then an H-back type body, and then a guy that had played basketball at VCU. Like, these guys are like kind of random pickup off the street guys and are crushing it. I think for Coach Manning to walk in and say, man, this is what we recruited for 3 years, and now these guys are kind of ready to go. I think it's huge.
You mentioned that you felt like the group's not reached its potential yet, but some of its opportunity, Allen's 130 targets were replaced by 100 plus from Butler. Is this the first time it feels like there's really a lot of opportunity out there for targets this beginning of spring? I mean, like there's a lot up for grabs.
Seeing the pass game specifically.
Yeah.
I think so. We don't talk so much about that. I think there's so much more to playing tight end. I think it's quantified publicly by targets. I think if you ask those guys, they would take all the credit in the world, more so for David's big year a year ago. I think they take so much pride in Kane's returns because they're all back there, you know. I think they take so much pride when our punt team does a great job because they're all on there. And maybe it's just because they're an unselfish group of young guys, or maybe it's because the way Coach Campbell preaches selflessness and giving more of yourself than taking. I think the targets are a way for you guys and I guess the public to quantify their success. I think the targets will come because they do have to be replaced, you know, but we have to earn those targets. And I say that really humbly. Those targets will come as Brock Purdy and Real and John and those guys feel comfortable throwing them the ball and the opportunities present themselves. We have to get open. We have to win on routes. So to say, man, the ball just ain't there, well, I think that's a cop-out loser answer.
How's Dylan coming along, filling Sam's shoes?
Yeah, I don't know if we'll be able to fill Sam's shoes, and I think Dylan's so different, but Dylan is really confident. Dylan has some freakish tendencies. He's so different and unique in so many ways. He's done a great job. He got that special teams player of the year at this banquet. I got to thinking, I mean, at the end of the year, he was playing more reps than anybody, both combined on offense and on special teams. He's an invaluable guy for us, just like Sam was, you know. And I think back to the West Virginia game, the Baylor game, the Kansas State game, those games where we had to run the ball to win, Washington State, where we were running the ball to win and playing ball control, he was absolutely monumental for us. Really priceless. He does an incredible job blocking on the ball. He's only gotten better, and we've got him for 2 more years. He's got some freakish ability. He can really run. He's had 1 target in his career for 0 yards. I'm aware of that. He's aware of that. That's a running joke in there. I think those targets will come. He's really, really developed in a big, big way. He's transformed his body. He's understood how to run routes. He's 6'7", 270 pounds. I think when you wrap your mind around what it's like to run vertical routes at that size, he's really, really come along. I'm really proud of that kid.
You guys have had so much success with those big receivers, with Matt, Hakeem, and Allen, and obviously in the red zone especially. Can you guys having that experience, maybe that some of the other receivers don't, can you guys help fill that void, I guess?
That's the hope. You know, you guys, you know, what we recruited him on, we recruited him as red zone targets. And that's a little bit come to fruition. Charlie had 2 in the red zone last year against TCU and then against Tech, 2 big ones. We have to earn those, but we've spent a lot of time this winter working on being that guy. A little bit more creative. I think it's unique in that spot. You match up against safeties. They're different, you know, than probably how Allen or Hakeem, probably more like Hakeem than Allen or Matt Eaton ever were, where find a mismatch and lob that ball up to him. I'm selling that. If you're asking if I'm selling, I am. And I think again, like what Coach Manning was able to go and see those guys do, it's been easy to sell to our guys, hey, this is what you could have. And I think they've really enjoyed watching those guys, the Ebrons and Ollie Cox and these guys go up and get balls in the red zone. I think it's been really, really big for Tom. I think it's like been a breath of fresh air, I guess, for those guys a little bit. It's a good question.
How did Charlie evolve through last season? Because you said he came in and was maybe a little bit more ready than you guys had even thought. But as a young guy, I'm sure he changes a lot as he gets those reps and learns on the fly a little bit. What did you see in the differences from him, maybe when he first started getting more reps to the end of the year? Yeah,
I think it slowed down for him, you know. And he played receiver in high school and played really good high school football. So he was prepared from running around and catching balls and those things. I think it was everything else. It was, and I got to line up and block this guy, you know, this dude from Oklahoma, and like he's coming to rip my throat out, you know, and I got to block this guy. Like I think that stuff was a little bit hard for him to just grasp, put his arms around, like, man, this is what I got to do. I think the speed of that more so than the pass game. I think the pass game was easy to him. It kind of came to him. But I think it slowed down as the year went, and he got more confident. You ask those guys to do so much. They play in space. They play in the backfield. It's just slowing down. Tom calls it accelerated vision. That it's got to just slow down for him. And I think as the year went, it did. Started with Akron, and then he got a little bit of confidence at TCU, and then I think as he played better and got more confidence, he was pretty good. Had a really good game, catching the ball at times, and then developed running. In the run game. But I think it probably took a couple of weeks. But just like anything else you do, I think you get more comfortable. It all slows down for you, and I think right now he's a really confident young guy.
You mentioned the parallels a couple times between the Colts and you with an H-back that's maybe like Sainer and a flex guy like Ebron that's like yours. Has Coach Manning, have you guys sat down and has he come over and watched some of what they did and compared it to what you guys have done?
Yeah, I think we've used a lot of that as teaching film, and Coach Manning coached those guys. So for him, it's been awesome for me to pick his brain, and as close as we are, I feel comfortable sitting there, and he feels comfortable sitting there and pick each other's brain, and it's been awesome for me to kind of get that perspective because I've never done that, and I've studied it. I've never heard the inside workings of it, and for him to go learn it, come back and help me with it, I think it's been priceless for me.
Sam became kind of a piece of the passing offense towards the end of last season. How can that position, being a threat to catch the ball, just kind of add another element to the offense?
I think it's offensive football in the pass game is all about matchups. I think as matchups present themselves, it's our job as coaches is to put guys in spots where we think they can win, and then it's on the quarterback obviously to deliver it. And at times, I think playing that spot gives you the opportunity to move you to positions where you can be a legitimate target. But Sam caught some balls in the flats and did some things with it, and I think that's part of our sales pitch now. You can catch the ball, you got to do something with it too. I think that's where Hakeem was so special and David was so special. Like, those are the things I think that need to be replaced, not just catching the football, but actually doing something with it.
Have you identified